One of our big goals for Heroes of Stalingrad is to make the most realistic weapon functionality and handling in any first-person shooter. So if you're familiar with the first Red Orchestra, you know that we have this system called free aim. There's no crosshair, and the weapon is able to be moved around independent of the player's camera. And then the bullets will go exactly where the barrel of the gun is pointed, not the center of the screen. This allows you to have a realistic challenge while shooting at people without aiming. What we've done for the new game is extended this system to work with in the aiming mode. So you can see the weapon move slightly independent of the camera, and this is really good if you're trying to scope out enemies at a certain area. You can actually move the gun down out of your view a little bit and then back up to take your shot without losing sight of the target. One of our big goals for Heroes of Stalingrad is to make the most realistic weapon functionality and handling in any first-person shooter. The player can lock onto cover objects throughout the world. They can move along the cover without exposing themselves. You know, peek out the side, peek out the top, and even blind fire over the top and out the side of the cover. This is particularly handy if you're clearing rooms as you come up to the corner of a wall or a door. Not very accurate, but certainly effective if there's a room full of enemies. Heroes of Stalingrad, like the original game, features a full ballistic system that simulates bullet drop and travel time for the rounds. One of the things that wasn't in the first game, though, that's been very highly requested is a bullet penetration system, and which I'm happy to say we have in the new game, as you can see, shooting through thinner objects. Another feature that we've added to Heroes of Stalingrad, in the original Red Orchestra we had a sway system when you went into aiming mode. Sort of moved your gun around like this. Really wasn't accurate to what a real-life weapon would do in a person's hands. Now we're modeling a full breathing model. This enemy here. As you can see, as the player breathes in and out, the weapon will move up and down. Stop shooting me. The weapon will move up and down and shake a little bit, just like it would in a real person's hand. But what we've also done is added a system that we call controlled breathing. With controlled breathing, reload here real quick. You can actually, the player can actually hold their breath for a moment, pause, and then they will breathe slowly and pause between each breath. This is really good for long-range combat, as if you fire when the breath is paused, you'll get the most accurate shot. Another thing that we've added to the game is, you've probably seen this in a lot of other games. You walk up to a wall, the first-person weapon comes down. We've taken this type of thing quite a bit further and added what we call first-person weapon collision. So when you're aiming, if your weapon touches a wall, it actually physically interacts with the wall. The wall will push back, and this really gives you the feeling that you're using a weapon in the first-person world, as opposed to just having something bolted to your screen. It really enhances not only the gameplay, but the immersion that you have a real object in your hands. And one thing you'll notice if you look at the screen, there's not a whole lot of icons that are on the screen all the time. The goal here for us, let's see if I can get one of these guys with blind fire. Yep. The goal for us with this is to have as little amount of stuff on the screen at all times as possible. This really, we feel, makes the game a lot more immersive. But one of the issues that we had in the first game was we had an overhead map that showed you just like this, that shows you where you're at and where your objectives are. But this kind of fell apart if you were in any kind of scenario where there was multiple levels in a building, such as this. So what we've added is what we call our tactical view. The tactical view, when you press the key, will bring up icons showing you exactly where the objectives are and the status of them. As you can see, both of these objectives are under attack. Several games have World HUD indicators that show where you need to go, but they're in your face all the time and kind of be distracting. You know, if I was trying to shoot at a guy here and there's a giant cross in my way, it would be a little distracting. This also brings up information about your character, which will fade away when you don't want it. We call this system HUD on demand, and this really gives you the information when you want it and need it, but not when you don't want it. Bipod mounted machine guns were also featured in the first game, but there were, one of the complaints about the system was they were kind of difficult to deploy onto objects in the world. So we've With the new game, we've made a lot of improvements to the system to make this very easy to use and make the bipod machine guns a lot more useful. So in the first game, for instance, if I wanted to deploy on this object, I would have to look at it at just the right angle. It was kind of fiddly. Now you just walk up to any object in the world, press your zoom key, and the player will lock right on. Even if you're not looking right at it, it will lock right on to that object. And you can just walk away when you're done using it. This makes the weapons a lot easier to use. Another new function that we've added is our camera movement with the bipod deployment. In most games, when you deploy a weapon like this, including the original Red Orchestra, it kind of looks like you're moving the weapon around, just it's floating in your hands. When in reality, it should move more like this. And no game has really done this before with a portable weapon. It's actually very difficult to implement. But as you can see, the weapon moves just like it should in real life. This isn't just a visual thing, though, as I'll show you here. If you were deploying on this in most games, you'd be sitting here, and when you aim down, your weapons kind of go down into the object. But in Heroes, since the camera moves up just like it should, you can actually fire down onto lower levels and get the proper view that you really should have. You know, the great thing about all of this stuff is, while it's making the game more realistic, what we really feel like is making the game more realistic. In this way, we're actually making it easier to play because we're giving you easier functionality to do things that are easy to do in real life. Now I'm going to switch over and show you another game type called Skirmish. This game type's all new for Heroes of Stalingrad. The premise of this game type is you have an AI squad of 3 fire teams, and you're placed into an environment with randomly placed enemies. And your goal is to use your AI fire teams to move through the level and kill every enemy that's in the level. Now the great thing about this is it's very quick to just essentially jump in and get some kills and have a little bit of fun. But this can also be played offline in single player or online in co-op with your friends taking the roles of the other soldiers in the squad. As you saw in the previous demo, you can give the player can give high-level tactical commands such as attack an objective, defend an objective, and the AI will figure out where to go and how to attack or defend those objectives. But you can actually take also direct command of your different fire teams and order them exactly where you want them to move. And they'll dynamically take cover. If they see enemies, they have a sense of self-preservation. So if I tell them to move here and an enemy walks up right behind them and they see the enemy, they'll actually move and try to find better cover and fire on the enemy. So what I'm going to do here is try to get my machine gun fire team to give me some covering fire there as I move through the inside of the building. Now squad command is low-level squad commands, not necessarily a new thing in video games, although the high-level tactical command is pretty new for first-person shooters. The difference here being these aren't enclosed scripted levels. This is a completely open gameplay area that you have to use tactics to attack as you move through. And what I'm going to do here is attempt to move through the top of the building while my AI fire teams clear the ground floor. Looks like we'll clear up here. Assault team downstairs. And what you usually want to do is you lead with your assault team, since they're equipped with submachine guns, and keep your light machine guns back for covering fire. And your rifle teams are also better used for long-range fighting, particularly outdoors. As you can see there, my assault crew moved up, cleared out the German downstairs. I can also, if I need to, order my entire fire team or my entire squad to move to a location or to follow me. This is really good, especially if you lose track of your squad as you're fighting in the battle.